you can talk to a client comfortably, if a client asks you a question and you know what you're talking about, if you can resolve tickets, if you have a good functional understanding, and if you've done a couple of implementations, there's absolutely no reason why you can't do it as a contractor.
Boredom is a good sign for you to become an independent consultant.
Yeah, the salary, international projects, and
Working
remote
remotely.
work were the three main reasons.
If after 6 months it doesn't work out, you can still come back to a full-time job. Welcome to the Ask an Expert podcast, the podcast where we demystify the Workday ecosystem from a consultant, client, and partner's point of view. Today we have Yacine Ould-Chalal as a guest, and together we'll take every single myth about becoming an independent consultant in the Workday ecosystem, and we'll just debunk them. Yacine just became an independent consultant a few months ago, so it's still very fresh in his memory. So if you're interested in independent consulting, or if you're already an independent consultant, you'll enjoy this episode. Yo! Okay, welcome to Ask an Expert, episode 2. People watching on YouTube can notice that we're in a new studio. Not like the first episode. We're trying to up our game here. Hi, Yacine. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me. Doing good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good too. Well, you didn't ask me, but I'm good too. Today's episode, I think, and tell us in the comments section, but I think for this podcast, I think we're going to just address a theme for every episode so that it makes it interesting for the audience. Tell me what you think in the comment section. If you have any questions or any requests, we want to hear about it. But today's theme, Yacine, can you tell us more?
My journey to becoming an independent consultant?
Yes. Yeah. So if you're an independent, or if you're, not if you're independent, but yeah, well, if you're an independent, you'll find it interesting. If you want to become independent, you'll find it even more interesting. If you're struggling as an independent, you'll find it amazing as well. So Yacine, for the people who don't know you, can you just introduce yourself, give us a little bit of background?
Yep, of course. So yeah, I am Yacine, based in Montreal, Canada. Went to college, did what I was told to do. Went to college, went to McGill. I studied accounting, so I majored in business. That's where MAHDI and I met, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we tell people how we met, or let's skip it and then let's come back to it?
We'll come back to it. That's where we met. I studied accounting. I wanted to become a CPA. That was my goal when I enrolled at McGill. That was my goal. I wanted to become a CPA. Graduated in accounting. When I graduated, I quickly realized I didn't want to work in accounting because it was boring as hell. That's the only way I can put it. And then when we met at McGill, you graduated, you started consulting at PwC. Right?
Yes, as a Workday consultant.
As a Workday consultant, I had absolutely no clue what that meant. You kept telling me about your work, and I was like, "What the hell are you exactly doing?" But yeah, you started at PwC.
At that time, I didn't even know what Workday was, so it was hard to explain when
Yeah, no, I get it. And then you worked at PwC for a couple of months. I graduated a couple of months after you.
Yeah.
And you kind of encouraged me to go that route, right? You said, well, why don't you become a consultant, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you do Workday consultant, right? And at the time I was really skeptical, I think, if you remember, right? Because I really wanted to work as a CPA. But I give it a shot, right? I graduated. I did the PwC interview process where you gotta do a math exam, a logical exam online, and then if you pass those, a video interview online. Yeah. And then if you pass this, you go to the PwC office and you do a group case
and a one-on-one
with the partner, which I did.
Yeah.
Right?
I wonder if it's still the case right now in 2024, like for new grads.
Yeah, I wonder as well.
If you know, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I'd be curious. But I did it. I graduated. I went. I got the job as a consultant, which at the time was the most prestigious thing you could do.
Yeah, as a business graduate.
As a business graduate, working for PwC, Deloitte, and EY, it's like you made it, right?
Yeah.
If you got it through. And I didn't have the best GPA, if you remember. Like I had a 3.1 out of 4. I wasn't the best, smartest kid at college. But I got the job as a Workday Financials consultant, right? I started as a Workday Financials consultant at PwC, worked 3 years at PwC.
Just before, I think Workday Financials was bumping like in 2018. I think it was the right moment to become a Workday Financials consultant. Yeah. Because when I started at PwC, no one was talking about financials. Like, not really. Yeah. Maybe we had 2 or 3 people. But then when you joined, all of a sudden, every new hire was a Workday Financials consultant.
Yeah, 2018, 2019 is the year where Workday Financials really started growing. Yeah.
And I think again, right moment, right skills, right fit, because you were a CPA or you had an accounting background, people just assume that you would be a great Workday Financials consultant.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the soft skills, because I've always been good at speaking, at talking to people. I've always been good relationship-wise. And I also had a business background and an understanding of accounting, right? Yeah. So that's what you want from a Workday Financials consultant, right? That's the skills you're looking for, right?
Do you think that with no background in accounting or finance, you could make it as a Workday Financials consultant?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Some of the people I've worked with had an engineering background.
Yeah, true.
Most of them had a business background, but yeah, there are a lot of folks who had a business who had an engineering background.
Yeah.
But did it help me? I think so. Yeah, it gave me an edge. Even today, like I understand the accounting entries. I can speak about accounting, right? Whereas some of my colleagues who did engineering background don't necessarily understand the debits and the credits. Dumb example, right?
I still don't understand it, so.
Yeah, and you'll probably never. I think it definitely helped. It helped me big time, I think. The fact that I'm bilingual, I think that also played a role.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started my career, did the training, went to Chicago in the US, did my Workday training.
That was back when they sent us to the training. Now everything is remote, I think, right?
Yeah, and you got to go to California.
Yeah,
and I got shipped to Chicago.
No, I went to Chicago first.
Oh, okay.
For HCM.
Right.
And time tracking. Absence, I did it in San Francisco.
Right.
Washington.
Yeah, exactly.
That was great.
Yeah. But yeah, I got shipped to Chicago, did the training. I came back to Montreal, did another couple of weeks of training, and then I immediately got put on projects.
Yeah.
I had no experience. First project. They're like, yeah, you're gonna be taking care of. You're gonna be leading the assets, projects, and banking areas, right? Yeah. I was put with someone who was more senior. But it was his first project as well.
Oh, cool.
He just jumped. He had jumped PwC, first Workday. He was a PeopleSoft. Brother, you know him, right? If you remember him.
Yeah. He stole my. Okay, that guy. Okay, side story. So that guy that he's talking about. So we all had unassigned seats at the PwC office, right? We didn't have our names, but we kind of knew that, okay, this person sits here, that other person sits there. So you kind of respected that unspoken rule, right? But that guy, he just kept taking my seat and I took it personal. But yeah, it's a side story.
Yeah. Aside, yeah. I have no comment. Yeah, whatever.
Moving on, yes.
Yeah, moving on.
You had multiple projects at PwC?
Yeah, that's it. He was from PeopleSoft. He had a PeopleSoft background. Yes. So both of us was our first Workday project. We had to go on site. We had to configure assets, projects, and banking, and it was a bit intimidating to me. Although I did pretty well during my sessions, it was intimidating when the client would ask me questions. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, how did you do this with other clients? And just look at them. The first project, they ask you this, right? And they ask you a bunch of questions. It's your first project, so yeah, you're gonna make some mistakes, which we obviously did. But we learned so much, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just knowing Workday, it's knowing how to present, knowing how to articulate, knowing how to present complex information to a client, like who's never seen Workday, right?
Yeah.
Put things in simple words so that the person understands, right?
I feel even understanding the business itself.
Yeah.
Because they, when you start your career with a partner, I guess you get good training for Workday.
Yeah.
But if you're a new grad, you don't have that business background. So for example, I do HCM, absence time tracking, but I don't know the rules around, I don't know, like maternity in Canada, for example. And so that I had to learn so that I can become a better Workday consultant.
Exactly.
It's kind of the same thing for finance, I guess.
That's the same thing. You over and over again, you see how businesses do things differently, how they configure stuff differently. So you've seen in the past, like, you can compare. And even client, like they put me on this client when I started. They didn't tell me what the client was doing, the business the client was in, there's the structure, So it was just like, just set up Workday, right?
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Yeah, it's over time as you can experience and you see different industries.
How many projects did you do total at PwC?
Total, I did maybe Between 8 to 10 projects, man.
Nice.
Between
In 3 years, right?
In 3 years, yeah. 10 projects minimum.
10 projects?
Yeah.
All implementations, right?
All implementations. Some were launch, some were like full your way implementations. But yeah, if I take the overall implementations I was in, between 7 to 10. Easy.
Yeah. I think it gave you the fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
Before moving on to the next stage of your career.
Yeah, big time. Doing a design session was not stressful anymore. It was just another day. Doing a CCS, configuring, testing, talking to a client, it was second nature to me, right? It was not stressful at all.
I think it's very important what you're saying right now, because I think it's the minimum level that you need before even thinking about independent consulting. Like not being stressed anymore with design sessions, talking to the clients, or just giving advice on configurations.
Yeah, look, if you have a design session, you're not stressed, right? You can do it in a week, prepare your design session, do the demo. If you can talk to a client comfortably, if a client asks you a question and you know what you're talking about, if you can resolve tickets, if you have a good functional understanding, and if you've done a couple of implementations, there's absolutely no reason why you can't do it as a contractor.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
I think if I can summarize it, I think boredom is a good sign for you to become an independent consultant. Like if you did the things multiple times and now it's kind of like second nature, like you said. Yeah. I think it's a good sign like, hey, like I can become independent now.
Yeah. Yeah. After 2 years at PwC, I was like, oh, another assets implementation, another project implementation.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know the drill. Same thing over and over again. Like I had a design session in a couple of days. I hadn't prepared anything and I was not stressed.
Yeah.
At all. Right, because I can set up the assets area quickly because I have a good knowledge. I can prepare I know the content of the design session. I wasn't stressed. But yeah, I got bored at a point.
But this is, okay. I'll challenge you here, okay? Because I do remember we have a friend in common who became independent very fast in his career, right?
Yeah.
And I do remember at that time, you were at PwC, I was at DXC. Mm-hmm. We weren't independent. But what blocked you after PwC to become an independent? You decided to go to Kainos, as we'll speak about it in the next few minutes. But what blocked you at that time? Do you remember?
Yeah. A consistent, predictable paycheck.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what blocked me. Just having a job, knowing I can depend on a paycheck, knowing 2 weeks from now I got a paycheck coming in, knowing I got a team of consultants I can ask questions to, like I'm working in a team environment. And also I had the mentality where I was like, I need to learn more areas in Workday. I was just certified in financials and in 3 areas, right?
3 other modules.
Yeah,
right?
3 modules. So I was like, no.
Can you tell them?
Assets, banking, and projects.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, capital projects and projects, not PSA, not project billing yet.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I need to learn more. I need to do procurement. I need to do suppliers. I need to do expenses, financial account. I need to have a holistic understanding of Workday before becoming a contractor.
Okay.
Right? And I didn't want to leave a job, a consistent, because that's what I've been told my entire life, right?
Yeah.
Just get a nice job at a prestigious partner, climb up a ladder, become a senior, become a manager, right? And you have a nice salary and you don't have to worry about anything, right?
I think you were promoted at PwC, right? Before you left?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Senior consultant.
Started as a consultant, get promoted to a senior consulting level for 2 years.
Do you think that's, or let me put it that way, are you happy that you got promoted before you left PwC?
100%.
Yeah?
100%. Yeah, 100%. I don't think I would have had the confidence.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Otherwise, it gave me confidence. It just confirmed that you're a good consultant.
Yeah. I guess you can have confidence.
Yeah.
But like if other people acknowledge it and you get promoted, it just adds another layer. Yeah.
And then if you're promoted out of Big Four, it adds another layer. Look, I started as a consultant, got promoted to senior consultant at PwC, right?
Yeah.
It just made me more confident in my skills, and that's what prompted me to move to Kainos, right?
Yeah, I remember. So you moved to Kainos in 2021?
Correct.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I do remember 2021.
Yeah.
How was the move? Interview process, by the
Man,
way.
that was stressful. I wasn't sure I wanted to leave PwC. I was scared. I was like, nah, that's a Big Four. It's a nice company. It's the most prestigious one. What if I move to Kainos and I don't like the team? What if I move to Kainos and I don't have projects like PwC?
Oh, yeah.
Right, and I get fired after a year because there's no work.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I was just in this bubble, right? you get stuck in bubbles sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I was really scared of making the move. I had an interview with Kanos. Yeah, they interviewed me. I remember the interview. It was really nice. The people were super nice, super friendly. Did the interview. It was one or two interviews that are virtual because it was COVID. Yeah. It was one or two interviews. They knew I was good. Like, you come in from PwC, you get promoted to senior, you're certified, you get 10 implementations. At that point, my resume spoke for myself.
Yeah. Everything becomes easier after a few implementations. So
exactly, everything becomes easier. So yeah, I did the interview, and even after the interview, I got the offer, and I was still like, should I leave PwC? Right.
So I'm sure people are wondering, since you were just unsure about that move, what made you just sign the offer and go for Kanos?
At that point, I was really bored at PwC. I kept pushing to get certified in other areas.
Oh yeah, okay.
That never happened.
Yeah. Many people are just siloed in just a few modules, and they just keep doing it and stop learning. I think that becomes boring.
That was my pain point.
Yeah,
exactly. They just get stuck, and then so there was no improvement regarding my career, my knowledge. That wasn't improving in 3 years.
What motivated you though to keep learning? Because at that time you weren't really interested in independent consulting. But what made you push for that extra knowledge in Workday?
Mm-hmm. I'm the type of guy who likes learning. If I feel like if I don't learn anything, I just feel like I'm not moving forward in life.
Yeah.
And more importantly, I like learning stuff which interests me. I just feel like I wasn't learning, I wasn't moving forward. And in the back of my mind, my end goal in consulting was to become an architect, a solution architect. It's always been it's always been on the back of my mind. And you won't become a solution architect if you only have 3 modules, right?
True. Yeah.
So I wanted and again, like, implementing over and over again the same thing becomes boring, right? Mm-hmm. So that was it, right? Becoming a solution architect in potential future. And also, in the back of my brain, I was like, if tomorrow I lose my job, the only thing I know is assets, banking, and projects.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
From that perspective.
Yeah, I wanted to have skills that are going to be marketable in the future.
Yeah.
Right? But if I have assets, banking, projects, PSA, customers, procurement, suppliers, then suddenly you become more valuable.
Yeah,
to the market. In the market, right?
Yeah. You versus someone with less modules, with less experience, less implementations.
That's it.
The choice is easily made, yeah.
That's it. So I wanted to protect myself by gaining more skill, and which would give me the potential of becoming an architect at one point, right?
And I do remember at that time, I think 2021 was the time where I went independent, and you made the move to Kanos, and I think in the same month.
Yeah.
You remember, yeah?
2021.
2021. I left DXC in, I gave my notice at DXC in July.
Damn, so you started independent and stuff. Okay, that's a nice parallel. I didn't think of it. I forgot about this.
So at that time in 2021, you moved to Kanos, and you were telling me that, independent consulting was not even 1% in your head, right?
Yeah. You kept talking about contract and independent consultant. Now that we'll talk about this, but now that I've been doing it for a couple of months, I'm like, why the hell? What was blocking me?
Yeah.
I can't find a rational reason.
Yeah.
Why was blocking me? I don't know.
We'll talk about this, but I think there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of myth that people just think about.
Yeah.
And I find, like, even when you speak to people, they're like, cool story, but then they just come back and they're like, no, they're rationalizing the myth. Yeah. Even if you tell them, no, it's not true, like, here's, some proof, etc.
Yeah.
But okay, cool.
That's true.
You started your work at Kanos. I'm assuming Kanos did want you to get more skills and more modules. Yeah,
they did. And when I joined, that was one of the things I said in the interview. I was like, look, I'll join, but I want to learn more areas. Right? Yeah. And they were super nice about it. They said, yeah, no worries. The salary, I got a higher salary, right?
Yeah.
I got a higher salary, right? It was one of the reasons that made me move to Kanos. Mm-hmm. Higher salary, the potential to learn more skills.
What modules did you learn at Kanos? Oh, sorry.
I'll tell you also one other thing.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons and the top 3 reasons that I wanted to move from PwC to Kanos. One of the reasons was the international, the potential to work on international projects.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. That's a huge one.
Yeah.
People might think, oh, that's a lame reason, but for me personally, I was working mostly on Quebec projects, implementations in Quebec.
Quebec is the province.
Quebec is the province in Canada where we're located in Montreal, so it's a French-speaking province.
Yeah.
Most of the projects were in Quebec. And if you were lucky, one or two in Ontario, right? Yeah. And I was young. I just got out of college. I want to work. I want to work for a U.S. client. I want to work for a client in the U.K. I want to travel to London, to New York. I had this desire to work on international projects, right? Which I wasn't getting at PwC because PwC works in silo.
Yeah.
PwC US works on US.
Has
correct.
Their clients, yeah.
PwC Canada works on Canadian projects. That was one of the reasons. Whereas Kainos had international projects. Kainos had projects in the US, in the UK. On the same project, they would staff people from Argentina, the US. So this international thing, I was like, damn, that's what I want, right?
But now that we know better, now that we're independent, a lot of clients ask for this international exposure.
Yeah.
So it's a really good move.
Yep. Some US clients during the interview, they say, hey, have you worked with US clients?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you've only worked with Quebec clients, you don't know how the US does business. You don't know how the UK does business, right?
Yeah, second reason.
And then the other reason was so Canada has horrible weather.
Yeah.
Which might not come as a surprise to you. But yeah, sometimes I just wanted the possibility to work
remotely
from Florida sometimes, right? If in January we're going to want to go work 2 or 3 weeks in Florida, I can do it. I wanted this option, right? And PwC was not allowing this.
Yeah. They didn't give the full remote. I think they removed it at some point.
They removed it. They came up with a law that said, hey, you can't work outside Canada.
Yeah, I do remember. But Kainos, they told you you just need permission.
Exactly. Why? Because Kainos has consultants in the US and in Argentina.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they don't care if you go to the US or Argentina, right? But yeah, that was one of the things. The fact that Kainos was international, right? Had international projects and allowed me to work internationally, right?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, this is no brainer. Right?
There was just 2 reasons. You said you had 3 reasons. Are you lying to the audience, or?
Did I say this? Yeah, the salary, international projects.
Yeah. And
remote
remotely.
work, right? Remote flexibility were the 3 main reasons. Why I joined Kainos.
Cool, that's amazing. And knowing better now, I think it was a great move. For the salary, just giving you more power, that's good. International projects, I feel, is the most important one among the 3 reasons, just because right now I've gotten clients in France and in Europe just because at DXC I had projects in Europe as well, right? So just easier to sell to clients.
Easier. Yep.
And then working remotely, I guess, many Workday jobs are still remote. It really depends on the company, so it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool to have that option at least. Yeah.
Going back to Kainos, so what modules did you get at Kainos?
So yeah, at Kainos, just my resume just exploded. I did customer accounts, customer contracts, and I did PSA, project billing.
Nice.
Right. So I did the entire revenue area of Workday. Right. How to bill clients through projects, how to create customer invoices, the entire customer area in Workday and revenue management. I did it. And I remember when I did the interview with a person from Kainos, that person told me, hey, if you can get PSA certified and you can become an expert in PSA, it's huge. It's a huge plus, right? It's a very important skill to have, right? And I ended up getting certified in project billing, getting certified in customers, and more importantly, to get it certified, that was one part. But more importantly, I worked with some incredible brand names.
Yeah.
Like some major clients like that have a worldwide reputation. Right? So not only did I get to gain these certifications, but I got to work on really nice projects like that gave me this expertise.
Like that one project that spanned 10 years, right?
Yeah. There's one project that's going on and going on and going on just because it's a huge company and they got like offices across the world. That was a big one. That was a major one. I got to travel. I got to go to New York. I got to go to Toronto. Which had always been what I wanted to. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Kainos has been the best experience, hands down. And I've been blunt with you. I told you like, hey, look, I didn't have the highest paying job or highest paying salary compared to some of the people I know in the ecosystem, but I did have the best projects, hands down.
Yeah. True.
Hands down, the best projects, the best team, the best culture.
I think it also gave you the opportunity to not only get the certifications, but use them in actual projects.
Yeah.
Which is very important, especially for people who think that certifications make consultants. Certifications is just the introduction.
Yeah.
Using them in projects, I think, is the most underrated part in a consultant's job.
Yeah.
And I feel like at Kainos, you got both. You got certified, just like you said you wanted to, but then they also staffed you in projects where you could use these new certifications.
Exactly. And you know, you can't just become a contractor and say, hey, I'm certified. They're going to ask you for experience, right?
Yeah.
How many implementations have you been on? Which industry? How long were the implementations, right? What have you implemented? They'll ask you these questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting the combo of getting the certifications and working on big clients it's a knockout. It's just, yeah.
And then you stayed at Kainos for what, 3 years?
3 years.
So 3 years at PwC, 3 years at Kainos. So 6 years in total in the Workday ecosystem.
That's right.
And then back in February, I think, of this year, 2024, you started talking about independent consulting for the first time, let's say.
Yeah.
What happened?
2 of my really good friends, including you, have been doing it for now 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
For 3 years, I was just for the past 3 years, I was just in a bubble, right? It's comfortable. I was working on nice projects. I was gaining skills.
I think you had a really good work-life balance as well.
Yeah, I did. I had a nice work-life balance.
Yeah.
I had a decent pay, right? I was living comfortably, wasn't really thinking about money.
We're selling Kainos, but we're not sponsored by Kainos.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by.
But no, I think Kainos was a very good employer.
It's a very good employer. Okay. They're not sponsoring me, guys. I wish they did. That would be more money for me. But no, they're not sponsoring me. But yeah, it was a nice culture, nice work, nice team of people. But what was I about to say? Yeah, I was in a bubble, right?
Yeah.
I was good. I was enjoying my life, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't prompt me to think about going independent. Like, it didn't come up to my mind. But we went on a trip together, right? Back in February. We were just talking about contracting, and I don't know. I don't know if it's the trip, the environment where I was in. I talked to you. I talked to the other friend who was independent. They just showed me, like, they talked to me about their work. I mean, you guys have been talking about this for 2 years, 3 years, but I don't know what happened. Can't tell you what happened this winter. It just dawned on me. Mm-hmm. I was like, what am I doing, right?
I think that was the next step also in your career, if I'm not mistaken.
It was. I was really good at Kainos, but I wanted even more autonomy, even more freedom, and even more and the potential to increase my income.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My goal has, for the past 6 years, since I graduated from college, has been to buy real estate, purchase real estate.
Yeah.
And look, man, when you're earning a nice salary, right, you can be making a lot of money, but when you're taxed 50%, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. It takes time to save. It's been excruciating saving money for to purchase something. So I was just thinking, what would be a good way to increase my autonomy, increase my flexibility, give me the option to pick my projects, what I want to work on.
Yeah.
Right. And potentially earn more. Right.
Yeah.
Because at Kainos, you can work 50 hours or 60 hours, but
you're not paid overtime.
You're not paid overtime. Yeah. And you don't have the potential to say, oh, you know what, this year I want to work a lot. I want to work on 2 or 3 contracts. Mm-hmm. You don't have this option. You're staffed on Kainos, you're staffed on 40 hours a week, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right, that's it. And you pay your salary, right? So I didn't have this option, and then I don't get to pick my project, right? You staff on a project, and you don't get to say, you don't get a word on it.
Yeah.
You can, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted something, and I was looking at you. You guys were doing really well. You guys were working on contracts, picking your contract. You guys had work as well, right? My my worry about becoming independent was, oh, what if I become independent and there's no work, there's no contract? I don't have any income. I'm screwed. Right? That was one of my scare. Having two close friends do it, show me the numbers, show me like not just proof. Abstractly, not just an abstract in theory, but the actual proof, right? Hey, look, I'm doing it. I've been doing it for 2-3 years. It is what it is.
Here are my LinkedIn messages. All of the recruiters hitting me up.
Exactly. Here are the projects I'm working on. Like it's just having close friends doing it is just different. It's not the same. It's different.
And I think if you don't have the environment where you know people doing independent consulting, that's why I'm creating this podcast. I think we can all connect together, create a nice little community on LinkedIn, and here in the comment section if you're watching on YouTube, and just share our knowledge. I think what you're saying is everything that I've been hearing from people who are interested in becoming independent. But then you overcame all of those myths. Yes, you had friends, but most importantly, I think you gained that enough confidence, enough skills, enough experience where you will be like, let me try it. Worst case scenario, like Kainos will still be here.
Exactly.
I can still move to another partner. Or even go to a client on the client side of things.
Exactly. I had nothing to lose, but really, I had nothing to lose. I'm already a consultant. Let's say you're a consultant, right? You're making 100K, right? And then someone comes to you and say, hey, you can be doing the exact same thing you're doing right now. Exact same thing, right? With the potential to earn twice what you're currently earning, with the potential to pick the project you like, with the potential to be autonomous, be fully independent, with the potential to pay less taxes because you'll have a business, right? And not be taxed 50%. Why on earth would you say no?
Yeah. And like you said, I think it's always worth a try. I know everyone's conditions are different, but if you try it for 6 to 12 months, you have enough savings, and obviously, right, you're not going to leave your job without a contract. You get your first contract, maybe 6 months, you try it out.
Yeah.
If after 6 months it doesn't work out, you don't really like it, you can still come back to a full-time job. And in that 6 months, you would have made enough money for the whole year or the whole, maybe
something
10
like
months.
That. Yes, exactly. So, that was my, I'm a very risk-averse person. You can ask MAHDI.
I know.
Yeah, right. I'm very risk-averse. So I get it. But my thought was like, hey, I can try contracting. And if after 6 months, if I work on a contract for 6 months and then the contract ends and I never find a contract again, I have some savings for a couple of months or a year and I can just go back to a partner.
Yeah.
That is the worst case. Worst case scenario, a case that is very unlikely to happen.
And I know, like, since you've had like some great relationships at Kainos and you've done a great job, like people told you like, hey, if you don't like independent consulting, come back. Or
I've been fully transparent when I left. I jumped on a call with my manager and the director and I was like, look, I love Kainos, but I want to go the independent route. I just want a new challenge. I want to test it. I want to see how it is and give it a shot because I'm young, right? We'll touch base upon that as well. I was blunt. I was like, look, I'm young. I'm not married. I don't have kids. It's now or never, right? If I want to take some risks, it's now or never. I won't do it when I have a wife, a mortgage, and 2 kids, right? So it's like it's now or never. So I was really blunt with them. I talked to the director, talked to the manager. I was like, look, I'm not going to another partner. I'm just going independent, right? And they were super nice about it. They said, we get it. And they said, it's open door if you want to come back, right? Because I had done a great job at Kainos. So we left in good terms. Still an open door if I want to. But that's.
I think that's a sign also of a good leadership.
Yep.
The fact that you were comfortable being transparent.
Yep.
And the fact that they received it well.
Yep.
I think that's great.
Yeah. It just confirms that it was a good company, right? I knew it, but it was a confirmation that I had been working at a really nice company for 3 years. But yeah, it's another thing why I decided to go independent, right? Except for being able to pick my projects, have autonomy, freedom, and potentially earn more. Except for all of these, right? I was like, I'm 30. I don't have a wife. I don't have a kid. I don't have a mortgage. It's now or never.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's the right moment where you have the right skills,
Yeah.
where the market is good.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good market right now as I'm filming this. So I
Yeah.
think it was I feel like it was the good moment.
Mm-hmm.
But then let's talk about when you decided to start looking. I think it took you some time, right? So
it
took you a few months. Tell us about those few months.
Yeah, it took me a couple of months. In the back of my brain, coming back from this trip, I was like, yeah, I should give it a shot. I should give contracting a shot. But I started looking for contracts, but it was not during the best moment, right? I had some interviews, talked to some recruiters, but nothing concrete. Nothing happened, right?
Yeah. For like what, 5 months, 4 months?
For 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah,
3 months. Not that much.
Yeah, 3 months.
And then for 3 months, I think I had just gave up. Not give up, but like I was like, I had come back to my bubble.
Yeah.
Back to my bubble.
I remember you were like, I remember something you said. You said, imagine if I was already a contractor, then I would have been 3 months without a job.
Yeah, which is not true.
Which is not true. That's not how you think. That's not how you think about independent consulting. Yeah, exactly.
No, which is not true. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're interested in becoming independent, that day that you decide to become independent is not the day where you get a contract. It's going to take you some time to build the necessary network and people who you trust who will give you a contract.
Yeah.
Right? So it took you 3 months. Some people took them 6 months. Some other people took them. I know someone who I think he waited almost a year. Maybe he won like a really small project, but almost a year before he became full-time independent.
Yeah.
And that's okay as well, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone has.
It's
their
okay as
timeline.
well. It's okay as well, exactly. And in hindsight, 3 months is not a lot of time.
Yeah. It's very fast.
It's very fast, man. It's not a lot of time. 3 months, I got my contract, signed my contract. And
Wait,
yeah.
I want to stay on those 3 months for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
I remember.
You want to roast me? Huh?
You were like, I remember you were like, oh my God, Thanos just put me on this new side project. What do I tell them when I get a contract? And I was like, calm down. When you get a contract, just think about it. But now you don't have a contract. You don't even have an interview. So stop thinking about like what you're going to do. Like just.
Again, that just shows you like how I enjoyed my time like back at Kanos.
Yeah.
It was a nice project. Like it was a nice project. I was learning a lot, and I was like, damn, I was going to have a more important role. I was offered a more important position as part of the project.
Yeah.
And then I was having interviews for contracting. So I remember I messaged you. I was like, yo, what do I do? Like, what do I do if I get a contract? Like, like, calm down, just wait. And I followed your advice. I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to follow Manny's advice. I got the contract, ended up signing it. And
even when you signed it, the start date was like a few weeks from when you signed it. So you still had time.
I still had time, but I was still doubting my decision. I was like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Yeah. Just like when I left PwC for Kanos, same thing. I was still doubting, should I do it? Should I leave contracting? Should I leave a nice company where I'm having a good time, where I have nice projects, a nice group of people, a decent salary? Should I leave all of this? What if, right? What if contracting goes wrong? What if I get a contract and after 6 months I don't have anything? What if, right? Just what ifs. But then I say screw it. I don't know what happened, but I just had this confidence, and I was just like, screw it, I'm going to do it. So I jumped on a call with the Kanos managers, told them, hey, I'm going to go independent. And it went well.
It went well after that. Yeah. So just to recap, took you 3 months after you decided, got your first contract. Now it's been what, like a month and a half?
Yeah, almost 2 months. Yeah.
So tell everyone, what is the main difference between your job now versus any other project you've done at Kanos or PwC?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nothing.
For people listening who think that independent consulting, you're like on your own on the 47th floor of like a New York building doing presentations on your own, that's not independent consulting.
That's not what it is. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. I'm doing the exactly the same thing I did
You still have colleagues you can ask questions to, right? Okay, maybe not.
So when you're working at a partner, do you have more resources you can rely on? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
Is it the end of the world where you're not going to be able to do your job? No.
Yeah. And also,
no.
I think you know, you're making friends along the way.
Yeah.
Multiple times, I just jump on a call with a friend. I kind of share my screen and show them my problem or my issue or anything like that, and they help me for free.
Correct.
Because we're all here to help each other at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so as an independent, you have resources from the company depending on where you work.
Yeah.
But you also have your network, right? Don't forget about it.
But I won't lie. It's not like I'm a contractor and sometimes I want to ask a question to someone, but I'm like, hold off.
Me too.
Because I'm like, hey,
you're expert.
A contractor, bro. You're the expert. Why are you asking me a question?
Yeah.
That's the only downside that I've seen. So I have to go on community, look for answers, post something.
It makes you more resourceful.
Makes you more resourceful. Yeah. And it's the benefits fully outweigh. I would take this any day.
Yeah.
Over, right? I would take this any day over.
But wait, let's get spicy a little bit, okay? Even in a partner environment, unless you have a very good friend, you're not gonna bug anyone with your questions every day. Also,
that's true. That's very true. That's very true. Because you don't want to sound like the dumb consultant.
Exactly.
That is very true.
And we've had some examples of people asking questions, and for me personally, it's totally okay.
Yeah.
Especially if that person is new.
Yeah.
But like other people, I don't know.
I know.
They think otherwise. They're like, oh man, he's like so annoying asking all of these questions. But yeah. So be careful.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to be. Even if your colleague is super nice and sounds super friendly, just be careful, But
so it's kind of like the same situation, being at a client and being at a regular.
There's nothing different. I'll tell you what has changed. I am 1,000 times more. This might sound weird, but I am 1,000 times more motivated.
Yeah.
I am 1,000 times. I am working a lot more. I am working overtime sometimes because I want to, not because I have to. And it's just changes your perspective. It's just
because for the first time, it's your brand, your reputation.
That's it.
And don't get me wrong, when you're working at PwC, Kainos, or any other partner, you're also playing your brand, but it's kind of like more subtle.
It's more subtle.
Yeah, it's more subtle. At the end of the day, you're under the umbrella of that partner or that company. But as a contractor, they can cut your contract tomorrow if they want. So you're kind of playing your brand every day. So yes, you will work overtime or you will go that extra mile just to show that you're a very good consultant.
That's true. That's exactly what it is. You have a brand. It's your business, right? You feel like the owner of a business. That's how you feel like. It's the difference between being an employee at a store and being the owner of the store. That's literally the difference. The owner is going to work more. He's going to take out the store. He's going to supervise everything. He's going to take more care of the products. That's the same thing. It's the exact same analogy I could give.
That's true.
You're 100 times more motivated. Yeah, you want to go the extra mile, right? To provide quality work. You want to renew the contract. You want to do a great job, a good job. That's what's changed. That's the biggest change that I've seen so far. This is the number one, hands down, change I've seen so far.
Yeah. No, that's totally true. I got that as well. But yeah, aside from that, like...
Then there's a certain confidence that comes with it. There's a certain confidence that you cannot explain that comes with having your business.
Yes. Nothing is better than a client learning Workday, and then you answer all of their questions, and then the configuration works, and they're like, wow.
Yeah.
Yacine or MAHDI or whatever, like, just saved us. It just feels great.
Yeah, it does. It does feel great, man. And especially you did that on your own, and it's your business, and it just feels different. So there's this entire psychological thing which you don't think about right now, but which is huge.
Yeah,
which is huge.
Okay, let's talk about how you got those contracts, right? I introduced you to a few people in my network, but what would you recommend to someone who's just getting started? Let's say they have 3-4 years of experience as a Workday consultant. They think about becoming independent. what are the first few steps that you took that may be beneficial for other people?
Just go on the street with a billboard. Not complicated, man.
Yeah, I'm looking for contracts, for Workday contracts.
Honestly, in all honesty, reach out to the agencies, all of the recruiting agencies. Right? You got a bunch of them. I know you're probably getting harassed.
The 1,000 partners.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in another episode.
Yeah, it'll be 10,000 by now. But yeah, reach out to these recruiters, talk to them, say, hey, you want to get... Be honest about it. Say, hey, I'm still at my job, but I might, if that's your goal, I might want to become a contractor. Have a look at the market, see what the contracts look like, get informed, speak to some people who do contracting, like both of us. But yeah, just, if that's something you want to do, just reach out to recruiters on LinkedIn, schedule a call with them, tell them, hey, that's what I'm doing, that's what I've been doing in the past, and that's what I want to do in the future, right? And then they'll take care. If you have a good resume and you have a background, they will be more excited to place you than you are, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because it's money for them, right?
Yeah.
So they'll be as excited as you are to place you. That's what I would do. That's what I did. That's the number one thing I did. Just reach out to recruiters.
The follow-up process.
With the recruiters? Yeah. You and I have different opinions about this.
Yes. Okay, I'll start.
MAHDI thinks I need to, every morning at 9 a.m., I need to call the recruiter and say, hey, you got contracts? What's going on?
No. That's not what I say. So what I say is, okay, you speak to a recruiter for the very first time. Let's name the recruiter James. James has 10 contracts. He knows 50 consultants. He is gonna place consultants whom he knows already first. So let's assume he knows that 6 people are very experienced and they're safe, so they'll place them. Only 4 contracts left. So he'll reach out to people who he doesn't know or he's not sure if they're available, right? If you keep calling them, you will be top of mind, and so you'll have more chance at getting the interview and get placed in those remaining 4 contracts. Now, don't call them every day at 9 a.m. My rule of thumb is every month for every human being. Not for every staffing company, because let's say that you have, it's pretty rare, but let's say you have 2 people that you speak to on a staffing agency. Speak to all of them at least once a month. I have that really good friend who's also an independent consultant who's reaching out to me every 3 weeks, I think, with an updated resume. Saying like, hey, keep me, top of mind. I'm still looking for a part-time contract, for example. So I think it's best practice. But I'm curious, like, what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Just
like an
follow
email,
up.
5-minute email. Yeah.
That's it. Just do it. Yeah, that you have nothing to lose. But if you have a good resume, you have a lot of experience. Your resume is going to do the talking.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
They can do talking. And they're going to be like, this guy, we need to give him a contract.
I think there's a sweet spot where you can become independent at the right moment, at the right time. I think for you were in that sweet spot. I think your experience at Kainos was valuable.
Yeah.
I made the jump after 4 years at partner firms. You made the jump at 6 years. Everyone has their own timeline. You just feel it.
Yeah.
In terms of experience, confidence.
And if you're not ready to make the move yet, what I would suggest is you do is the same as I did. Gain 2 more areas, 2 more modules. Get certified in 2 more areas. Get 1 or 2 implementations in each of these areas.
But just talking about that.
Yeah.
In financials, I think it makes sense because Workday decided to launch 1,000 modules in finance. But like in HCM, for example, I'm doing HCM. I did absence time tracking. I think the only logical other module would be payroll.
Yeah.
If I start asking my partner to be certified in benefits and compensation, it's nice to have, but it kind of doesn't build on my current knowledge, let's say.
Yeah, I get it.
Whereas
that makes sense.
You, in financials, every new module within your area adds up.
Because they're connected.
Yes, because they're all connected.
Yeah.
So, there's a limit where it's maybe better to be even more expert in your actual modules rather than just go and take new ones. So there's a balance.
I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's true. And then there's nothing when you're a contractor that prevents you from gaining new certification.
Yeah, that's true.
Gaining experience.
Yeah. With this new system, and I know that certifications are changing pretty soon, or are already changed once this episode is live. It's going to be live in a few weeks. But yeah, even staffing partners right now can certify you.
Yeah.
So you can even gain new. Oh yeah, yeah. That's another thing that people tell me about, like why they don't become independent. They're like, oh, I will stop learning. I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah. No, you're not. Yeah, I've learned so much in the past 2 months.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot.
And you know why? I think it's because as a contractor, you're expected to do a little bit of more things that are a little bit outside of your expertise. And that's why you learn.
Yeah.
Like even if I get HCM or absence contracts, I might do some benefits stuff and compensation, and I just need to learn anyway.
Yeah. That's very true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You get outside your comfort zone and you keep learning. And it's not like it's not like you're learning a ton when you're a partner versus contracting.
Of course.
The difference is not going to be that
big. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've been selling independent consulting, but okay, I know that it's been just 2 months, but tell us about the downsides.
The downside is you don't have that network of a team that you work with. You're more I would say on your own a bit, right? When I was working at Kano's, I felt like I was part of a team and that we would solve solutions together. As a team, right? We'll brainstorm things and find solutions together. Now that I'm on my own, I gotta kind of rely a bit more on myself, right? I don't have that much of a support, right? Functional support compared to when I was at Kano's. The downside is, when you have a job, you just wait for your paycheck. When you're a contractor, you gotta bill. You gotta do the entire admin work.
And then you need to wait 30 to 60 days to get your payments.
And then you need to work 60 days. Yeah.
Depending on the staffing part.
Correct. Yeah, you gotta wait to get paid.
Let me just say this. Again, we're not sponsored, but there's one staffing partner. My very first. Okay, it's Manpower. Manpower is not a Workday partner. It's just a staffing firm.
Yeah, it's big.
It's big, but they don't do, like, they're not focused on Workday. They do other things.
Yeah.
But they pay weekly.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Like, I would bill them on...
You serious?
On Friday, and I would get my payment on Thursday, like the following Thursday. It was crazy.
No way.
That would be, like, perfect for the Workday ecosystem, but...
Wow.
But yeah, I've not seen another staffing partner doing this.
That is crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, if you have savings, I think that's good. And then once, like when you get started, I mean.
Yeah. Have some money set aside.
But then once you get your first payment, then it becomes just like a regular
Correct.
payment.
Yeah, correct. And then, the other downside I would say is if you know a contract is about to end, you don't know if it's going to get renewed, so you got to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Right? So that is the downside, but so far, to be totally honest with you, the downside pale in comparison to the pros.
The upsides, yeah.
They just pale. But that's the main two downsides I can think of.
Yeah.
Not having a huge support group and being on your own. The entire admin stuff where you have a business now.
Oh yeah, the accounting, the business setup.
Yeah, business setup, the accounting. Make sure make sure you do your income tax return. Make sure you set aside money. Make sure you bill correctly. And track your hours. What other downside can I think of? And then I would say, if you're working in a great culture right now, you're at a great company, you love your colleagues, it's like family, you're close to each other, and it's fun going sometimes to the office, if you go to the office, or if you have calls with them. If it's fun and you love it and you want to go contracting and independent, just be prepared to maybe not find that same vibe when you go contract, right?
Well,
but again,
it depends. So here's my experience. Okay. I've known some companies that will treat you as an employee, even if you're a contractor, which is good and bad at the same time. Because as a contractor, I just want to do my job and solve your problems. I don't want to be part of any internal initiatives. Yeah. But then if you like that, I think some companies will give you that opportunity, which is good.
You're absolutely right, 100%. There's a downside. It's good and bad.
Yeah.
Right? It's good in the sense, you have a nice culture, you have a nice group of people, an employee, but you're an employee. right?
Yeah,
Like you're part of the company. You're not independent. You're part of an organization, right?
Yeah.
Which is nice, but again, at that moment right now in my life, right, and the goals I have, I just want to solve your problems, help you, give you my expertise, get paid, and have my freedom.
Yeah.
Right, and manage my schedule, manage my projects, manage my freedom, and just be independent. Right, that it always comes back to that freedom.
Yeah.
Thing we talk about, right?
Yeah.
It always comes back to that. I would rather have this than be part of a great culture, initiatives, and all.
Yeah,
that, right?
and I think it all depends on which chapter you're in. I think at PwC Kainos, you were in that chapter where you wanted to learn, you were a new grad, etc.
Correct.
Now you're in a chapter where you just want to give as much as possible in terms of your expertise, etc. Get something back in terms of freedom or flexibility of work, choosing your projects. I always say this.
Yeah.
Coming from partners, most of the projects that we've had were implementations.
Yeah.
And I feel like at some point they become boring.
Yeah.
And so becoming an independent, you can choose like, okay, the next project I want is a phase X. Okay, let's do it. I want an optimization project. Okay, let's do it. Oh, you know what? I miss those implementations. Let's go back to implementations.
Exactly.
I think that's the kind of flexibility that I really enjoy. So that no project looks like the other. So
that's true. Yeah.
So yeah. So
good point. Yeah.
Now that it's been 2 months, how are you foreseeing the future, the next year?
Keep doing what I'm doing right now.
Keep billing.
Keep billing. Keep billing. Keep learning.
Keep providing an exceptional customer service.
Keep delivering exceptional customer service. Adjust my way of thinking to a more entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Right. Like some stuff that we didn't think about, like, when I'm speaking to a client and I'm doing a demo, how can I improve my presentation? How can I improve my decks? What technology can I use to make this more interactive? We talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, if I want to do some instead of building an Excel spreadsheet with some ugly screenshots, how can I use a tool that allows me to talk and then pinpoint my screen while I'm doing the demo? Like some automation tools that you're never gonna think about it when you're an employee. Even if regardless if you're the top employee, things you're not gonna talk about, think about.
Because it's hard to implement any new tool or any new way of doing things when you're part of an organization.
That's correct. Correct. You use the tools of the organization. But now that I'm a contractor, how can I become a better consultant? How can I provide more value to my clients? You start thinking more like a business person. That's the entire point.
Are you stressed about your upcoming contract being like finishing in, I think it's 6 months, right?
Yes. Yeah. No.
Is it 6 months or 12 months?
6 months.
6 months. Okay.
No. 12 months.
12 months. Okay. 12. So you have time. Time. It's just been 2 months now. You have time. That's cool.
12 months. Yeah.
Do you recommend people to get a 12-month contract as a first contract? I think. It's great.
If you're risk adverse, definitely do it. Get a nice contract, and then
those are not the most popular though. The most popular ones are like 6 months.
Yeah, correct. Most popular ones are 6 months.
But when you find 12 months, like just get it.
Exactly. Yeah. If you just get the 12 months one. I'm not too worried about it. I don't know if it's because the ecosystem is doing well right now, but I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah,
I'm just enjoying it overall.
That's the most important part.
Yeah, and I did not expect to enjoy it that much. I just thought, hey, I'm gonna do contracting. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be fun. But okay, whatever. All right, I'm gonna probably earn more and be more free. But when you actually do it and you experience it and you live it, it's like,
I think you have a new sense of ownership, as you said.
You have this new sense of ownership.
Yeah.
It's like
I think that's the word.
It's like you went from renting a house, just paying the landlord, and you're comfortable, to buying a house. Oh, it's my house?
Yeah. Now it's your house. Yeah.
And it's your house. And again, like nothing wrong with working at a nice company. I think it's great, and it depends where you are in your life.
Yeah. As we said, chapters
in your life. Exactly. There's a lot of perks at working at a company that you don't get when contracting. It just depends where you are in your life, but there's a sense of ownership that comes with having being a contractor.
Yeah. Last advice for any independents. watching us right now?
Think about what phase of your life you're at right now, right? If you're a new grad, you've been working for a year or two, I probably might not recommend you to do contracting right now. I'll probably recommend you to gain more experience, gain more certifications, establish yourself, and then if you want to do contracting, go for it.
Yeah.
Personally, right? But think about what phase you are in your life. What are your priorities at the moment? Is it sustainable? Is it sustainability, predictability, sleep at night, just pay your bills and not have to worry about, my contract is ending in 2 months, 3 months, right? Is it freedom? Do you want to be able to travel the world, work, not have a boss, not have a manager, have your own business? Is it become a manager, right? You want to be loyal to your company, you love your company, you want to become a manager, right? Work at the 26th office in New York City, have employees underneath yourself, right?
Right. I forgot to mention about that. I think, independent consulting is not for everyone.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
That's the point. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
There's some people who they want to be part of a company. They want to be part of something larger, something big.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? They want to go to the office. They want to be suited up, just like Suits, right?
Yeah.
The TV show, right? They want to be suited up. They want to see colleagues. They want to be partners sometime, right? They want to work with nice colleagues in a nice environment. They want to be part of a brand, right?
Yeah.
Then that's fine.
That's totally okay.
That's totally okay.
Yeah.
Just be a good consultant. Get promoted. If you don't get promoted, go to another Big Four or another company that will promote you, and that's totally fine. But if your goal is freedom, you want to be able to work whenever you want, wherever you want, you want to have your own contracts, you want to be a business owner, you have that more entrepreneurial mindset, build your own clients, work on as many contracts as you want, pick the projects that you like, not have a boss, not have someone you have to report to, right? I think contracting is the way to go.
Wise words from a wise man.
I want to sell a dream. It's just reality. It depends who you are and what you're doing. And then, hey, you can do contracting for a couple of years and then come back to
I've seen that a lot.
And to come back to a company and just become a partner or manager, right?
Yeah,
there's
true.
There's absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
that keeps you away from doing this.
I've seen multiple people do that, and they're pretty happy where they are now. So,
exactly.
I think it's just being self-aware and just knowing what you want from your career at that moment specifically, because I think most people don't realize it, but you're free to do whatever you want. So you're working at a partner, you can go to a client, then move to contracting, then move back to a partner. It's when you have the skills, it's hard to say no.
I mean, the person I was working with at PwC when I started, he had done PeopleSoft. He was a
person who stole my seat.
Yeah, he was a contractor, and in his previous years, he had been a contractor. Right?
True.
And then now he was a manager at PwC. Yeah. Look, as long as you have a nice skill, great skill, as long as you're in the ecosystem, as long as you're working, gaining experience, improving your skills, getting exposed to clients, and you keep learning, whether you're a contractor, whether you're an employee, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything, and you will always have opportunities in the future.
Yacine, if any client is watching right now, can you tell us in one sentence what's your Workday expertise and what kind of projects do you prefer right now? So
I am a Workday financials consultant, functional consultant, and I do business assets, banking, projects, including PSA, customer contracts, and customer accounts.
Amazing. And how can they reach out to you?
They can find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'll put the link here and in the description.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your knowledge, Yacine. I think bringing someone who just became independent, I think it was a great idea just because everything is so fresh in your mind right now. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure people watching us right now or listening to us really found some value here.
I hope so.
Really appreciate you, Yacine. Thank you for watching or listening to the second episode of Ask an Expert podcast, the podcast and the only podcast for now in the Workday ecosystem where we try to demystify anything Workday. So anything related to work, client projects, configuration, anything. If you have any request, the podcast is still very early. We're just experimenting with subjects. But if you have any requests, any questions you want us to answer, let us know in the comments on YouTube and we'll go from there. Thank you for watching. Until next week.
Thanks for having me, Maddie. Take care, guys.